The warehouse clock never stopped counting, even when the lights did. A gray building squatted beside a dual carriageway, hidden behind fencing and motivational banners about safety. Inside, everything ran on scans, targets, and tired bodies moving too quickly for human joints. The Multiplier lived there 5 nights a week, chasing pick rates that rose whenever rent rose. The fracture had already made London feel slightly wrong. Screens lagged. Timestamps jumped. News cycles filled with stories that sounded like jokes until someone close swore they were true. Still, boxes kept moving. People kept swallowing disbelief with cold tea. On the night the power arrived, a power cut hit mid-aisle. The conveyor belts groaned to a stop. Emergency lighting flickered on like a weak apology. A forklift reversed blindly in a narrow lane and clipped the pallet stack. The load tipped. A young worker froze under it, trapped between instinct and bad training. Cardboard boxes slid, then hovered, suspended for a half-second too long to be physics and too short to be magic. The Multiplier's focus narrowed to a single thought. Down became optional. Gravity softened in the air above the worker. The boxes drifted like heavy snow, rather than falling like bricks. Time returned with a jolt as the emergency lights steadied. The Multiplier shoved the worker aside and took the impact across a shoulder instead of a skull. Supervisors arrived to blame the forklift driver. An incident form appeared. CCTV showed a stutter, then a man moving too fast, then a worker saved by luck. Everyone accepted luck because the alternative was impossible. The Multiplier did not accept luck. The Multiplier accepted patterns. After shift, in a staff toilet cubicle with a lock that barely latched, the new rules were tested in private. A pen was placed on a toilet roll dispenser. Fingers touched it. A second pen appeared beside it, identical down to the scratched cap. 2 objects existed where one had been. No smoke, no flash, no drama, just a silent correction to the count. The next test happened in a quiet stairwell. A coin was flicked upward. Gravity was told to thin. The coin rose, slowed, and hung like a pause thought, then fell when focus broke. The Multiplier walked home under sodium streetlights, feeling like an error that had learned to persist. The first use stayed decent. A colleague's inhaler had run empty midway through a shift. The colleague tried to play it off, breathing shallow, eyes glassy. The Multiplier duplicated the inhaler in a blind spot between aisles and passed it over like a spare battery. The colleague laughed with relief, then stopped laughing when the duplicate felt too real. Rumors spread anyway. Not spoken openly, but carried in looks and pauses. A warehouse ran on gossip as much as on scanners. Someone mentioned a pallet that had felt lighter. Someone mentioned boxes that drifted. Someone mentioned glitches with the same tone used for ghosts. The pressure arrived from above and below at once. Above, a manager with a clipboard, pushing targets harder, threatening hours, using the word performance like a weapon. Below, co-workers asking for small miracles, duplicate bus tickets, duplicate baby formula tins, duplicate a needed tool so no one got written up for missing equipment. The Multiplier started saying no, then started saying yes in ways that felt harmless. A missing scanner became 2 scanners. A safety blade became 2 safety blades. A pack of painkillers became 2 packs, passed under the table during break. Harmless became addictive. In a system built on scarcity, doubling things felt like justice. It also felt like control. The first serious consequence landed as numbers on a screen. Stock reports flagged impossible reconciliations, items present without being received, quantities doubling without purchase orders. Audit teams arrived with tablets and tight smiles. Security added extra cameras and claimed it was about shrink, using a word that avoided accusing anyone in particular. The multiplier responded like a mathematician, not a saint. Gravity bent in quiet corners to dodge cameras and soften footsteps. Duplications became more careful, more strategic, less visible. The power stopped being a rescue tool and started being an advantage. A manager cornered a young temp in a stairwell after shift. Voice low, body too close. Threats disguised as help. The temp's hand shook with the familiar trapped politeness of someone who needed hours to survive. The multiplier saw it from a distance and felt something old and simple. Disgust. Gravity turned heavy around the manager's feet, pinning shoes to the floor with invisible weight. The manager's swagger collapsed into panic. Words came out sharp and small. The temp fled. The multiplier held the gravity for a full, shameful minute, long enough for the manager to understand helplessness. The next day, the manager reported a fall and showed bruised knees. CCTV showed a stutter, then a man suddenly kneeling as if the floor had decided. The report went nowhere because it did not fit forms. That night, a message arrived from an unknown number. A time, a location, and a single word: Crownwell. The meeting took place in a rented office above a closed shop unit. 2 people waited inside. Clean shoes, neutral expressions, visitor badges reading Crownwell Applied Systems. A tablet played warehouse CCTV clips. Each clip contained a missing half-second, a compression smear, a drift of boxes that looked like a camera fault until watched twice. The Crownwell representative spoke calmly about anomalous mass behavior and inventory integrity. The offer arrived like a contract pretending to be support, protection from investigation, a new job title, and a schedule of outputs. Duplications at set times. Gravity manipulation for set purposes. No improvisation. The multiplier understood the trap immediately. Control did not end tension. It only changed who held the leash. Refusal was delivered politely. The Crownwell representative did not argue, simply sliding a second tablet across the table. The screen showed an incident report flagged for urgent safeguarding review. It referenced the stairwell, the pinned manager, and a sentence about possible assault. The report contained enough truth to destroy the temp's life and enough ambiguity to shield everyone else. The multiplier left the meeting with a decision that tasted like metal. Back at work, gravity changed in small, vindictive ways. Pallets felt heavier for certain hands. Steps felt slower for certain supervisors. The changes were meant to be fair, the harm limited, the control responsible. Then a coworker slipped while carrying a load that should have been light. The fall was not fatal, but the scream sounded like a warning. A system that allowed one person to rewrite weight also allowed accidents to happen silently. By morning, a new security gate had been installed at the staff entrance. A new camera tracked faces in gate. A Crownwell logo sat at the bottom of the new policy briefing like a quiet signature. The fracture had given a power. The city had already decided who would manage it. See what happens now that Crownwell has their asset. Watch the next episode, like this video, and subscribe to find out.